Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Zach Bro.
And Daniel Booth.
And I'm Locke.
And we're going to be playing a little catch up. We apologize for not having an episode last week. A lot of stuff was happening for me. I had to cancel on Friday. We rescheduled for Sunday, and then I had to cancel on Sunday. Completely my fault. But a little bit productive on Sunday. I was able to get the audio only version of the podcast finally. A lot of you have requested in the past. I understand that not everybody can just stream YouTube in their car while they're driving or something, and the car is apparently a very popular place to listen to podcasts. I mean, I do the same. So it's available on Spotify. The link will be in the description below. It's also, you just search Let's Talk Tactics, and it should just pop up with a very obviously War of the Visions image. It should be by my name, but I don't know how it displays, honestly. I'm still figuring that out. But also, I'll have a link to the anchor.fm link, which is where our podcast is being hosted, like the RSS feed itself. And eventually from there, you'll be able to go to, I think there's like 5 or 6 other hosting options. So eventually we'll be on all of them. Just Spotify was the quick, like I got it up as fast as I could. I did all 27 episodes in one day.
It's quite impressive.
Not too bad. It did take some hours though, because it takes time to do all of it at once. But anyway, that is something I've been excited about, and I'm sorry it took so long. I know in the past we were like, oh, I'm going to look into it this week. I'm going to look into it this week, and that never happened. But here it is, and we're back again this week with both the video and audio going live at the same time, so look out for that. But anyway, getting into, I guess, the past 2 weeks, we have, we'll just mention raid real quick. How'd you guys do with the raid? I did minimal, but I actually jammed a lot into the last 2 days where I was able to get enough recipes to max out the coat eventually, and I finished my purple lightning for last while, which is pretty exciting, so.
I did pretty well. I didn't struggle at all with getting an auto team. Normally, I just ran with my light squad, especially after bringing Rob up to 120. He's like one of my favorite units, if not like evade characters right now. I actually had a lot of fun making all strike team video, raid video this time around. So that was fun. Just having not only 120 Ziza but 120 Elda with Raldor and a couple others
Air
have
punch.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I ended up having a few turns left over, almost like it was an optimized raid team in terms of the what the boss was weak to or whatever. So that was really fun. I had fun. I think I was less active than I usually was, and I think it's because of leading up to the end of the semester. But I still ended up with an excess of 500,000 medals. So
Hey, I'm just glad you're still playing at the end of the semester.
yeah. I ended up at rank 2,000 or whatever because I just gave up on going top 1K like I usually try to.
I was 10,030 or something, just above the 10,000 mark. I'm probably a reward there, but
there's a lot more people raiding, and I think it probably has something to do with recent events.
Oh, and by the way, I solo unit for my 100.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Maybe that's a reason too.
Just on auto, just whatever. As long as Aeon Bond procs twice, you're fine. So there were the rare occasions where it never procced and I just died on the stairs. But otherwise, yeah, you take off her LB so she bells turn 1 and then she just spams the whole time. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I've tried many different combinations and they all worked. I was actually trying to put out videos of different duo squads to show people how to do it.
Yeah, I saw that. You were going crazy.
Show them how to duo it.
Yeah, I you could use basically either Yuna. So you can do Yuna plus any light unit, or Titus plus Ildira, or Yuna plus Titus. Those are the units I tried. And then I also was able to do the solo Yuna as well, but I just found it took much longer. So and it was 100% guaranteed to die to do it in one shot. So I was like, okay, I'll just stick with the duo. And I think the first day I was going really hard at it. I think I ended up at rank 89 by the end of the day. But then by the end of the entire thing, I was rank 2,000 something, because I don't keep going hard maybe the first day, but then I get lazy.
Not many people got time for that.
Yeah. Especially if I don't have an emulator doing it. I'm doing it manually, right?
Yeah.
So it takes a long time.
Rent's too damn high.
It's too damn high. Yeah, I know. I think Brian was using it, and a couple others in my guild actually were doing mono water teams for it. So they're doing Ildira, Titus, Winter, Victora, and there's another obvious one that I'm forgetting. I think actually Miranda, maybe.
Ramada.
I think some were using Miranda. I know Brian was using Miranda, but then other ones, yeah, might have been Glaciella. I just don't think Brian has Glaciella. Probably would have been better, but Yeah, there are a lot of options. I think just the recent power spike of being able to 120 units and really have the elemental support and the extra vision card abilities. The raids haven't really caught up to that power yet, so it was pretty forgiving, I think, which was nice. The robe that you get with the 30% magic is pretty cool. And the fact that it's got a significant spirit on it, so it's actually a reasonable piece of armor with a nice passive that's a little different than what we're used to. I'll be curious to see if people choose to use it over something like a Soul of the Masa.
Yeah, people were asking me a lot, like, "Hey, do you think Soul versus, Galmia Robe or whatever it is?" And it's like, well, I think what it comes down to is like, what team are you using?
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of my answer for that.
The this, but also this. You decide. Yeah.
Epic
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you decide. Jesus. And
Yeah,
copyright. No.
I find that I barely ever use any MR like armors anymore. So like I never farmed a smart code, but when I put it in the shop, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna use it so much. So that I skipped on it just because I'm like, oh, I'm just using grade equipment now anyway most of the time. How about you guys? Do you guys still use any like MR equipments?
All the time. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
My smart code is one of my favorite pieces of gear in the whole game, honestly. Like the 21 spirit's just so high for a single piece of gear. And then let alone the magic resist is really nice, especially nowadays. I actually just made my second one like last week or 2 weeks ago.
I may still be running with 2+4 level 50 smart codes.
Okay.
I've never got around to making a +5
I
smart
just
code.
ran. I think there was not this last time, but like the previous time we got smart code and it came back. I think it was a brutal farm and it was like right after we were able to really kind of like I was just talking about the raids. It was at that point where we could just kind of brainlessly do brutal farms. And I did a bunch of it for the materials, so I just had like 180 recipes or something ridiculous sitting
Yeah,
around.
I have like 200
Um,
plus, and I just never.
and with
I think
all
it was the
these
armor book.
farms and things in the background, and yeah, all the armor book gifts and stuff, I just saw I'm like, I could just make this right now. And at the time, I was using, I don't remember what it was, but it was either a guild battle team or something. I really wanted 2 smart codes, and mainly one for Oron and one for whoever else was on the team. I think it was maybe Winter Venera at the time, but yeah, so I definitely use that. Sage's hat, obviously, I'll use if I need it.
Right.
I don't have a +5 ribbon, so it'll generally be like either 3 Sage's hats or 2 Sage's hats and a ribbon, depending on who's on the team. And if I have to go past that, it goes to Mithril armor, and then it gets a little rough. But actually, that's a good point. What other MR gear? I don't really use golden armor anymore because I have the platinum armor. But if I didn't play PvP, I'd use the gold armor.
That's kind of an interesting point. Like, it doesn't matter like how developed like your account is, like how big of a whale you are. Really, like instead of like units and espers and vision cards like we normally focus on, I think what's really telling for like the state of and development of account and like the history of it is like the gear and like I have a ton of like maxed out like +5 gear, and there's just these little like inconsistencies like these 2 smart codes that it just kind of fell between the cracks.
Yeah.
I have a +0 smart code, so
I think
at
I
least it
also
has 21 spirit.
think I have like a +2 vital one too from way back when I was like putting it on Grace or something. Who just I needed the extra HP or
The
like Drain
plus
Force Akatone or something before I got a vital plat robe.
the +0 platinum mace with the salt for mastery. Still sitting on that.
Actually, I think
Yeah,
it's plus. I think mine's +2. Actually, the assault one I have. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I did the same thing.
and I have 2 Sage's hat. I have a +5 and a +1. So if I'm that's that's all I have to use if I'm using 2 evade characters. I don't have a +5 ribbon either. So the max I can have is 2 evade units at once.
You don't have any ribbon at all.
I have a +2, but it's not an evade type. It's like yeah, it's like some other. It's just
Oof.
for the stop.
The stopping. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, kind of digressing a bit.
Dude,
I'm
I
looking
can't
at
wait
the
for that to
time and
come
I'm
back.
like, well, class match window in less than
Oh
an
yeah,
hour
right.
Oh
now.
yeah.
All right, let's go through. Yeah, we got priorities. So real quick, we'll do like 15-second reviews. All right, so Omega VC. If we can do it in 15 seconds, go, Daniel.
Oh man. The agi bonus for dark units is really pushing Stern up to like a max of 128 for the cheese blade combo, so that's unfortunate.
Is it better than Cactar? 12%?
Yes, because of the +3 on the like stat to agi.
Oh, because it gives 3 flat too. Okay. Oh Jesus, it gives flat agility. I didn't even realize. Have you guys maxed it? This or the Rob card?
Yeah.
I haven't pulled either, so
Oh,
You both, Daniel.
yeah.
I'm in the middle ground. I pulled the Omega mainly because I want the Esper. I haven't even maxed the card, but I will probably be spending Anniversary and Spring Medals to max it. Which, by the way, those things
Yeah,
are
they're both really
insane.
good.
Look, if you are a spender, all of the 2K paid pulls right now have 100 Spring Medals attached, which it's 100 of anything you want, including I believe the double cost units are still 1 medal for 1 shard. So if you haven't maxed your Gilgamesh yet, there's a chance. If you have some cards sticking around, just don't be me and forget there's a bingo board for the near card and max it with medals and then go look in the top corner of your game. It's like, oh, whatever, bingo board challenge mission complete. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you should always be telling yourself when there's a vision card
Always.
released, just think the bingo board is going to give you 75 stars. So just
And
make sure to only go up to 200.
At least like 2 of my guildies did for Bahamut. They maxed Bahamut and then didn't get the bingo board. So it's like, that's a little worse.
It hurts
But
every
it
time
kills
we
me.
hear that.
But like I fell for, like, I'm the one who always preaches that too. I'm like, guys, whenever there's a new update, stop asking me questions. Check the Visual purchase, the special shop, bingo boards, and the
Drop
polls
rates.
before you do anything. And man,
So
I didn't follow the advice then.
what agility can Stern reach up to in Keenblade now?
Instead of 127, he can reach 128.
Oh, okay.
Which is what originally Garvel was reaching for my anti-cheese blade. But I'm assuming if I run this Omega VC on Garvel now, he's going to be able to reach 129. So still should be able to keep up with that, except for Omega VC being an attack card and not a magic card. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to still one-shot these cheese blade teams. So we'll see.
Longest 15 seconds of our life. Flash of insight now with the Rob card. Dan, it sounds like you maxed that one, Daniel, so I haven't used it yet. It looks like a really good card. Slash attack, slash resist pen. Great for Rob. We just got a katana that gives Pierce and slash, which is kind of cool for Rob as well. It's a little sidebar, but
yeah, so for anyone building light teams, I'm sure you've noticed, like, trying to build your light squad, like, what vision codes are you going to use? This fills like the one slot that's been missing, and actually fills an extra slot that you may not have expected. So this is the light attack up card, but also gives evasion up, so you don't have to like always use a mage with Shiva. Now you can use this.
yeah, that's true actually. Especially if you're doing all light. So I'm assuming you've tried the like Vistral, Rob, and something else.
I haven't needed Vistral yet. I just used like I don't know. I think it was like Sakura Yuna, Rob.
Oh, okay. You just straight in there. Okay.
And actually shut down Cheeseblade teams with it because they couldn't hit Rob. they killed Yuna and Sakura, and then Rob just 1v3'd the whole team.
That's amazing. I've been thinking about maxing him, and if I do, I'll want his card, but he really seems very good. Like his damage is kind of impressive. And that card has a 240 mod on its ability on a guaranteed hit, which is just okay.
Insane.
Very high.
He's got a guaranteed hit with his card. He's got the Zentetsu Kongo or whatever with the barrier break. He's got the vortex render for like the Kotetsu range. And he's got the gap closer with the Hayate. It's just he does a lot of things right now, and I really enjoy that.
I did a review on this card, and I was thinking that you can pair it with the Ramza VC so that you will have plus like you'll have your slash attack and attack for your entire team. So if you have like a light team of 3 slashers, you have your maximum attack, and then you can have agility, evade from this card, and like another card with luck, and so you can have your maximum evade plus your maximum attack combination on a light team, which I think is really, really strong. So
yeah, he's like auto attacking and critting for like 6k on an auto attack. It's great.
What are the highest evasion light units? It's got to be obviously him. He's number 2. Like even in JP still, I guess Vistral would be up there somewhere.
Or Nemar luck, yeah.
But then I don't know. After that, I guess there's like
Engelbert has high luck, right?
Oh, that's true. Engelbert, yeah. Let me see. I'm just doing a quick scroll. Yeah, nothing's really jumping out at me. I'm on the thing right now.
That's kind of why I stuck with like Yuna and Sakura, just to have like mages with AP pools and like, you know, the Instacast LBs and stuff like that.
Yeah, even if Yuna's only like a 60%, like you'll get hit 60% of the time, and then 100% of the time you react with Aeon Bond. So
I was about to say that if you didn't.
So you're good either way. All right, so yeah, I mean, really good stuff. Also, I guess just not to glance past it too much, but the Golem also got his got his 3-star awakening. It's pretty cool. I know it gave them like a bunch of earth attack. So I'll be curious to see if people make use of that. It's a little unfortunate because a lot of times people would use it on just like anyone because it has like human killer defense. But now it's kind of skewing it towards that way. I guess now you can do pierce resist defense and human killer, so you can go like that route if you're not trying for the earth damage. So
And it
some
gives
options.
confusion resist.
Does it?
Yeah, 25% confusion resist at level 99.
Yeah, honestly,
Oh, I keep forgetting about those bonuses.
Yeah.
I would kind of encourage you, unless you're going specifically for like an Earth team, which I'm not really expecting to see many of those right now. I would encourage you to actually do what you just said with the defense, the pierce resist, and the man killer for exactly that reason. Like people were looking at me or like reacting strangely when I was saying that I use Typhon for like as like my magic accuracy Esper, and it's like
It's
like yeah,
25
you
accuracy,
see it.
bro.
People are like, oh man, it's all about that wind attack, and I'm like, yeah, but it's all about that accuracy actually. And so that's really what I'm using that for instead. It's
Yeah.
more of a like a well-rounded Esper that way.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
there's ever
that's
a
how
me-
I have
Oh,
built
sorry.
mine as well. The exact same nodes. I have not unlocked the wind nodes on her. Wind attack nodes, just the accuracy and other stuff.
Yeah, I think if there's ever another class match meta where it's like you're seeing Agrius like bruiser teams always, like putting Golem on that for the mirror would be excellent to mitigate some of the confusion. And then I'm not sure what else what other sources there are, but 25% is quite a bit. I mean, it brings it down to like what a 48, so it becomes a coin flip instead of like guaranteed, like we're used to seeing. So I guess a little less because it's 67. Anyway, helps a lot. Could help you win the mirror. Going through those. I know we're rushing. We're trying to get to class match because I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about there, and then that alongside the near collab. So let's jump into near real quick. The pod, amazing. It's basically a Hermes sandals for all the people who don't play PvP. So here's your 6 agility, just a freebie. You don't even have to plus it up. It's great.
I think it's better than the Hermes sandal, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't realize it was limited to one, so I had a plan of getting like 5 of them and dismantling all the Hermes sandal and making a +2 Hermes just because that was my plan. And then I'm like, wait, you can only get
Genius.
1. Damn it.
Only one robot. Yeah, 300
I see what you did
HP,
there.
10 defense, 6 agility, and 14 accuracy for anybody, and then with just a random passive of attack resistance 8. There's no downside
Very,
to
very
it. It's
strong,
very,
yeah.
very good.
Can I have a confession, you guys? I still haven't got this pod thing yet. So I wasn't even aware of the agility. I just saw like the attack resistance, Um, I just haven't really put much effort into the near stages yet. I should probably do that.
Yeah, there were a couple. I think it was like the multi one, and then collecting struck blows not hard across a couple days, but also like the 10 duel. So like you had to do a little extra work if you wanted it like day one. But yeah, you should kind of fall backwards into it at some point.
Where do you get it from?
Challenge board.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And you still have to level it to 50, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 5 stars?
No, you just level it to 50.
Oh shit. Okay.
Now it doesn't
Like a
auto
scout.
max. Like you might have to. It doesn't like. It's not guaranteed
Like that,
max.
yeah.
But I use shields, and the first
decent
time
accuracy.
I maxed it.
Whenever I see an MR equip with like 14 accuracy or lower, I like seeing that because there's certain accuracy milestones where like if you're going for like an accuracy like a gear setup, like you really want it to be like 20 is really good, right? But like you don't want to have these higher accuracy totals halves, right? So seeing 14 and lower is really cool to me because I know that this is the one that's going to be halved to like 7 or whatever instead of like the 15 to 20 accuracies having that hit, I guess I don't know if that really makes
I
much
understand
difference.
what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I'd rather have 2 at 20 than a 20 and a 14 because
yeah.
half of 20 is more than half of 14.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. Like
something.
it's you're not like, I don't know. It also kind of replaces like bells. Not that people use bells for accuracy, but it's that level of accuracy. So if you've ever noticed an
Something.
accuracy difference by putting on bells, you can get it here and then not worry about that. But again, I don't think people are putting bells on for that necessarily. It's just a nice bonus because
Yeah.
that thing is busted.
It does everything, yeah.
It just gives you like
does
170
everything.
HP though. It's whatever. How different? Okay, this is gonna be a rabbit hole that we don't have to get into. Maybe we can make a whole like discussion about this someday. But how different the game would be without bells? Like just if bells were erased, like how Oldo apron erased, anything with the regen AP on like TMR like that. But I guess it's just those two erased, gone.
Yeah, I've thought about it, and I mean, it would be a long discussion, so maybe
Yeah, it'd be very,
it'd
very
be
long.
good
So,
for another
So
day.
yeah.
taking the rabbit hole metaphor, it'd be like putting like a portal in like the top part of the rabbit hole and like opening the portal next week for like the remaining like rabbit hole.
Oh man. Okay, so other items. Cruel Arrogance. It is a spear. It has 30 lightning attack and 15 pierce. Pretty sweet. Really only for Alim and 9S. Sorry, I had to get my right letters and numbers. Uh, um, I don't think anyone else is really going to use it. The assault version isn't that much attack. I actually might consider doing the aim version just because losing only like 40 attack to get 17 accuracy is kind of nice. But I may cave and just go for pure damage. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on this item? Oh, also, it's nice that Ice isn't just getting all of the 45 mods, even though it already has a 45 mod spear.
No, I think you pretty much covered it. I'm surprised to see it go as high as 145 on assault. Generally, we see like these 45 mod weapon or items at like kind of like a even lower attack than that. Surprising.
Anything from you, Lock?
No, it's good. Like I made a +5 one, but I don't know how often I'll be using this one versus the wind lance because that also gives accuracy as well. So if
And
I'm
agility.
going and sorry, what?
On the wind one?
Yeah,
Or were you talking
Agility
about
as
wind
well.
spear, or were you talking about the other?
the one that you got for Kane, like when his
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
also has a 5 agility on it, which is
Oh
a
yeah,
huge
yeah.
boon as well.
Yes. Yeah, so that's why I was like I don't know how often I'll be using this one versus that one, but it was on a brittle rate. It was very easy to get. I got it in a day, so I made it already. And depending on what I need more damage or like more agility, more if I need more defense, I'll actually use the agility one because I can give like armor pieces to him, right?
Lock the
Instead of
mega
like
farmer, like farming a +5 in a day over here.
Next to his +0 smart coat and his +2 whatever else, whatever armor. Yeah, I got that +5 weapons though. Always +5 weapons.
yes, weapons.
Do the deeps. Oh wow, I just looked at the katana, the virtuous contract for 2B. I did not realize the assault version has 192 attack. That is sizable.
Very high attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, 10/10 pierce. How do we feel about that? Because does she have pierce moves? Like what are
She has pierce moves on her main job. That's why.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
that is okay. The impaler thing, I guess the name makes sense, right? Okay, that's pretty cool then. Also, I think I said this briefly earlier, but it's kind of cool that you could do this on Rob if you want to do like Lancer Rob. I know that people are probably going to use him on. Does he have illusion on his main or sub? Sub. So like you're probably sub samurai for illusion unless you have another something on your team to give him that
Yeah, you
buff.
have to compensate for it.
But if you ever did do Lancer, or like if you're doing like Bruiser on him, you want to do like Mana Strike for the control there. This would be a pretty cool item. Obviously, 10 slash instead of 15 is a little bit of a difference, but it's worth it for the flex, or not the flex, but the the interesting choice.
Yeah, it's interesting to note for Virtuous Contract, like the critical version of it still has like 153 attack. Like so we're still seeing that like higher attack total like the assault has. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's been a lot of buzz recently about like the quote unquote like the JP meta or whatever shifting more towards like critical attacks and critical weapons and stuff. So I'm kind of curious, like maybe I'll wait to craft this until I find more information in that capacity,
Farm 63 extra recipes, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do
I
that
mean,
in a
that's what I
day.
always do. I don't know if that's what everyone does.
2 days. Also, I mean, it's wolf, and worst case, it's wolf fangs in the background, right? Like you can build an ice brand. I don't know if you've built an ice brand all the way up, but note for anybody who is building an ice brand, this is a method of getting one of the materials for it.
This is like one of the best ones, as long as you can farm Orin's brutal stage.
Oh yeah, because that gives you ice crest, right? Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Yeah, hell yeah, it does.
So, and then the near card, obviously. Actually, I guess should we talk about the card or 2B first?
Kind of
we'll
go together. So
we'll choose not to be, and we'll go to the vision card. So it gives 322 HP, 150 attack is pretty good. 4 spirit, cool. Nice for an evasion unit. I mean, a little bit less damage taken from a holy. You're probably still dead to a unit, but maybe not. Actually, what is her Spirit and magic resist.
Well, so
We'll
it's
come back
just
to that.
it's interesting because it kind of acts like the flat stat on the card is like a bestowed spirit, you know.
Okay.
So it's like party spirit of 8, and then +4
Oh, it does have party
bestowed.
spirit. Okay,
Yeah, so it's like 12 spirit total for whoever's equipping the card.
pretty
I thought
sweet.
that was pretty cool. I thought.
Take a piece of gear, and then she gets 6 agility, which is sure, I'll take it. 20 slash resistance penetration on top of the bestowed 30% attack. It's just a pretty good stat line for the bestowed. And then yeah, you add in the party attack of the luck 35, which if you're doing, say it's like Howling Low Leela and 2B are like 2 out of 3 of like some of the most popular evade units. Well, she's going to be moving forward, one of the most popular. They're both wind, so you can potentially replace a Catone card just with this, and it's one you already want on her. It's a best in slot for her, well, presumably.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't really have.
third unit, Oldoa, I guess, because she's her
Until
EX
Tifa
is the
gets here.
7th most evasive, so I mean that's something.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really have much to say about 9S or 2B because I purposely didn't pull them, but I specifically went for this card because I was trying to have that kind of foresight looking forward. I mean, we know Tifa is wind, wind now, and this is going to really help
Oh,
her
true.
out as well for like I don't know, building a like a wind evade team, I suppose. I really should have gotten 2B, but I don't know, I didn't want to have every single unit. Wanted to save for the
Oh no!
double cost unit coming up soon.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
fair. If you're up for King Mon, I plan on skipping him. So
that crit damage though, crit damage 25, luck 35. Like I couldn't pass it up.
yeah, I mean that's always a nice middle ground. Like if you don't want to pull the newest unit, but you like picking up a vision card is almost always fine. Like you never know when there's going to be a unit that comes out that gets to utilize it just as well as she does. Like even if you're not using the luck for evasion, like luck for accuracy is still a thing, and it's very helpful in sort of evening the playing field, or at least helping mitigate some of the effectiveness of an opposing evade team.
So for me, I really wanted to get 9S up to level 99. And when I looked at the two-step banner, I really wanted those Blossom of Paradises because you can get 6 of them for 10k. And I thought that was a pretty good deal because otherwise I would get 6 for 6k anyway, right? And 4k extra to get all these shards and stuff. And I ended up getting 2B in that. So both of them, I'm planning to keep them at 99. I haven't spent any Vizier getting any of their shards, but I'm already at like 89 for one and 79 for the other. So I think by like without spending any money for shards or any Vizier for shards, I can probably get them both 99 before the event ends. If not, there's always the barracks as well.
Right.
So that's my plan for the card. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm more likely to run them on a mixed evade team than a pure wind evade team. So I would probably use the Ketone VC anyway. Like I can see her pairing very well with Winter Venera because she also has a magic resist and she's a like a very evasive unit, right? So I would probably put that Ketone card on Winter Venera. That's how I saw it. So that's why I didn't really pull on the card. But I mean, yeah, Tifa, when Tifa gets here, maybe it'll be really good. Like, of course, it'll be very good, but I don't know if I'm going to be playing Tifa much. I think I'll be playing like more with like Cloud and Lightning and all that. So that's why.
That's
I don't know, man. Balo's more evasive than Christmas Venera before her
that's
EX.
well, that's actually an interesting point. Like pairing Winter Venera as an Earth unit with a Wind unit like 2B, like you can uh kind of combat the whole elemental disadvantage that you have against Wind units with like sicking like 2B after them.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's why I was. So I was thinking I have her at 99 already. So I was like, maybe that's if I was gonna play it, that's probably how I'd play it. I think. So that's why I didn't go for the wind card.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Vizier is always an issue too, right? You not everybody can reasonably get everything. So like I was prepared to skip 2B, but I also did the step up because the value there was insane. I got like 400 over shards on it, or like 300 something. It was like disproportionately favoring her. So then I was just like, I don't know. I didn't get her on the step up. I was like, I don't really want to pull on her banner, but I'm like, all right, I'll go to one pity. And then first pull on her banner got her. I was like, all right, cool. Let's just move on from here. And then the vision card, I got like the second pull on its banner. And I ended up going to, I think I went to the end because you get the 50 shards at the end. The medals were less than normal. And I ended up getting a dupe of it. Just luck sacked into that, which was nice. So once I got the dupe, I'm like, all right, I'll finish the rest of it. Because it felt a little better about the value on the last step. But yeah, it's It's definitely a struggle. Like I'm in that boat where I want to max everything, but I also don't want to like spend a fortune. So it's like trying to find that balance of like what's reasonable to get. And that's like I was saying earlier why I went with it's like whatever I can get with these spring metals is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna like buy a shit ton of shards because I want to save up a little bit because we have the scholar coming, which I'm super excited about. And then Helena, I'm gonna want her. I don't know what I'm gonna do for her yet, but I'm
I know
sure
what
I'll
you're gonna do.
be. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, anyway, so let's talk about the near units real quick. So 2B, we talked about her for a while, especially in the PvP Discord, because to this day she is by far the most evasive unit in the game. Like Rob is close, Rob EX, but then after that it just drops off and you get to like OEX, which is good but not like nearly as crazy. When you put everything on, she gets up to 153% evade. This is assuming like maxed like VC setup and everything. Then it jumps down to like 142 for Rob, 141 for O. And if you look at like Venero is 137. So it's already like 16% more than that. So I mean, these are kind of abstract numbers, but it's just talking about like the ratio of how evasive they are to other units that we're familiar with.
Yeah. Like people
And
kill for like 16% evade. Like
right,
that's why you put on like a passive that boosts evade.
like she's a Shiva above, almost a Shiva above most of the units or every other unit. So if not by far more, like you get down to like Shiva's 20, right? So Ruin Stern is a Shiva less than she is. 20% less. Like that's crazy. He's so evasive. Think about it. So outside of her being wind and not really want to use her wind card with a mixed team, she's one of the best evade units. Um, so I know a lot of people have been pretty excited for her. Now, so Locke, you say you did get her, but you're not gonna like go crazy on maxing, and then Daniel, you haven't got her. Okay, so I have her at 100 right now. I have her EX'd up to that point. I haven't maxed her. But I think we saw you. Have you guys seen her in class match yet?
No.
So I know I was spectating some matches with her, but I haven't actually been against her yet. Dan, have you? So talk about your experience in class match. We'll kind of link this in with class match because they're kind of related, but
Right.
use that to talk about her.
So kind of what I was talking about earlier about like coming to the end of the semester. I've been really fortunate to have the time to really plan ahead this class match and be able to spectate for like the entire like second window like every day. So I've been spectating like 3 hours the second window, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and obviously I'm gonna do that the rest of the week. And I've seen quite a few 2Bs, and it's been kind of surprising. I think I only saw like one the first day, but it's been like a few yesterday, and it's been like more than a few today. If I remember correctly, that is. Actually,
I
maybe
mean,
it's
by
only been a
Monday or
few today.
Tuesday, people are gonna have her like
Yeah, yeah.
way up there.
So
So
it's really just obviously been like the I don't want to say tryhards because I don't really like that as a derogatory term anymore, in PvP at least. But the whales, the spenders, the people that have been able to max her out like super quickly, which is even easier nowadays with job keys instead of having to rely on just the JP quest. Like did I say job? I mean
you
JP
did say
keys.
job, yeah.
Instead of only having it like once a day, now it's like, well, I'm just gonna load up as many JP quests as I need, like 5 or 6 or whatever, to max out the unit. So it's just even easier to get to like max level nowadays. So really shouldn't be surprised to see these level 99 units at least like the first or second day. So yeah, she's been doing crazy. She even like 1v3 a team, and like I guess I can't say I was really surprised, but just so much damage, and she just like a bunch of flips and stuff when she the animations. It's been exciting to spectate, and I'm just glad I haven't actually fought against her.
That's cool. Whirling vortex type stuff, phasal slash, all the techie moves. She's definitely a cool unit. And the fact that she has Pierce hybrid on her, like we were just talking about with her main job, is really cool. I like the separate damage type. So, Locke, you said you haven't seen her against her, right?
No, I haven't seen her.
Okay.
I've just been playing around with her myself a little bit, but not in PvP, just PvE stages to get her resonance up and stuff.
Any thoughts about her, like moving forward, like what to expect maybe for builds or how you would expect to use her?
She's interesting because I as a unit in itself, I think she's very strong. I think it's just for me, it's just like I have trouble putting a team together for her. Like for example, like Titus, Yuna, Gilgamesh, Aron, like any of these other units, even like Rob. I can drop them into any build I want, like any formation, and I can give them one card and they're done. right? Like Rob, if I put his card on him, the other two light units also get the attack up, right? But the problem with 2B, in my opinion, is that I need the entire team built around her. Like I need everybody to have evade cards, so I need an evade team. Otherwise, like it's just a mismatch. Whereas with Titus, I can put him on any team I want, unless it's an evade team, and he would do all. I just need one unit and one slot, right? And I'm more used to that kind of thinking now because I like to like experiment with things and I like to play around with things. I like to put like Nivlu on the team because I like she's my favorite unit, right? But it's hard to do that with 2B. So that's why I am more hesitant. That's why I'm like, you know what? I think I'll leave her at 99. Maybe I'll use her for like fun tournaments or something, and like look at all those flashy moves or just play around with PvP like here and there and match battle.
Animations on, yeah.
Yeah,
So that
things
actually,
like that.
I have a question about that.
Mhm.
Uh, hoping that Prodigy wasn't going to go there next. So I think you probably know more about her than I do, so I'm kind of curious. Like, is she like really typecast into the evade role, or can she function as like a pugilist or like her main sub and still like if you don't build her for evade, is she still effective as a unit? Or like, would you say that maybe you're kind of tunnel visioning her into that evade niche?
So for me, the reason that I think that is because like for the meta right now, right? Like I think there's just so much like ice going on around now, so that I can't really use her if she's not in an away team. In like match battles or in class match because like even if I build her like more bruisery or something, I think ice units will just one shot her. The way she can survive is by evading them. Like it's just funny because I think she probably would do better in auto than in live matches, just because like the auto uses like Auron will probably try to break her barrier and miss instead of using the actual the guaranteed hit. So I think she might do okay there. But like what I really want to use her is in live PvP, right? And so I think I can like I just don't see a build being viable right now where it's not evade just because of so much ice. If that wasn't an issue, I think I would experiment with different things because I think she's the only unit that has a slash resist buff, which is great, right? Like I could probably build like slash resist teams, but it's just but again, like Gilgamesh is the unit to decrease your slash unit, and he's around everywhere, and he's ice, and so I just don't see that being viable like right now. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
leaving it at 99 as well.
that
So
makes sense.
Fair enough. Yeah, the other thing I want to bring up was her auto absorb support ability. How do you guys feel about that? Because it's a assuming you would be using the upgrade if you want to make use of it. It goes up to a 30% like life steal basically. I don't know how good that is because like if it was the whole game, I feel like it wouldn't be that broken. So I don't know why it's limited to 5 turns, kind of like Garvel's buff. Like, okay, do you want 70% magic, dexterity, and like what is it, 30% agility, or do you want 30% lifesteal for 5 turns? Like the fuck? Like these things are not the same power level. I don't think. Like maybe I'm wrong, but like because she's also an evade unit, do you think all right, so say the Oron hits past the
mhm.
evade, she's dead, right?
I would assume so, yeah.
Yuna. Does Yuna typically one shot her with her like her holy or her LB or things that are guaranteed hit?
Like I wouldn't know because I don't have her
Okay, okay.
at 120, but
Have you seen enough to be able to kind of eyeball that, Daniel?
I would say that she get one shot. Yeah.
So like, if she's gonna get one shot after taking damage from not evading, the lifesteal doesn't matter. So it's just it seems like a weird mismatch. Like I'd imagine someone like Winter Venera, or like someone beefy, bruisery, like Dwayne, even kind of like his LB is having a lifesteal sort of passive to where they're meant to take some hits, and they get to heal, and like that's their form of tanking, like a lifesteal tank. But on her, it just seems so out of place. I'm sure it's thematic to the game in some way. I haven't played the Nier series, but I don't know if I feel good enough about using it. I don't know if you guys have any other input on that,
Yeah,
but
that's an interesting point. I hadn't really thought about like whether she can really utilize it. I mean, let's assume that like, maybe with enough barriers or something, we can get these evade units to survive getting one shot by their counters. Actually, I have to admit that I actually like on first glance I was a bit bamboozled by this skill, and maybe a few others. Like not having her, I've had to rely on War of the Visions Calc for my research. And like at first glance, I was like, oh, this is another barrier. It absorbs the damage done as like kind of like
Yeah.
not damage done, but damage taken.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
I was like, wait, does this like stack with her other barrier? And but obviously that
30%
was
damage mitigation.
it's because it's a passive instead of an active. But and so that was quickly dispelled. Somebody pointed out to me. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm stupid." But so now, like my next question, like right after that, was like, does it stack with Ayaka's X job ability that grants like lifesteal? It's like some kind of vamper. It's
Mhm.
like a similar ability because the whole passive versus active thing. Like I'm curious to see
I
just
think
how much drain that she can get.
I think yes. And the reason would be because if you think about passives like say Blade Soul, they give you attack percent. Like you can get an attack buff on top of that during the
Yeah,
game. It's not
exactly.
like when you would have like an illusion in Utsusemi where like Utsusemi would override illusion for a turn and then illusion kicks back in type thing. Like it doesn't just upgrade your support, it stacks on top. So I would assume that
So
they get both.
let's uh let's just speculate for a moment on like these Dwaynes and like these two Bs like with a Ayaka like absorb on them, just like going straight back up to full life, just like an Aeon Bonds proc.
Yeah, and speaking of go back to full life, that's the other thing. Is 30% of the damage you deal enough to heal you? So say you live the unit attack. It, is that 30% enough to get you to the threshold to then live another unit attack? Or are you just dead in 2 shots anyway? Like that's kind of how I think about the skill itself. And I don't think it's good enough. And the fact that it takes up a passive spot.
Think we may have to pay attention to this as time progresses because I feel like this is kind of one of those passives that really benefits from the power curve as it increases. Like maybe it'll be more useful in the future than it is now, and like we have these low enough like HP totals or something where like we're getting one shot now, but maybe it won't happen later, and this will be more useful then.
Right. Like stack enough wind units with the passives and maybe she has enough HP. So I guess we'll move on to 9S real quick. I have not seen him do anything yet. I know I saw a picture of someone testing his main job abilities. I think it was the linear spear shot. It's kind of like the other Lancer skills, where if you're like Nighthawk, where if you're on a high elevation, you get like way more range. So someone is on like 7 to 0, and he got like a 7 or 8 range, like spear throw, which is pretty cool. But he has a lot of interesting abilities, like
Yeah,
the shield deployment,
very cool.
giving defense and spirit for all allies 15, and it gets protect. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
The cyclonic spear shot is like a jamming thrust, canceling activations, and then with the EX you get agility down. The hacking ability being typeless is cool, and I guess the stun is a nice bonus on top of that. And then he gets a 200 mod pierce resist down is crazy too. Like there's a lot of interesting tools here that are pretty exciting, and he gets the really good weapon. Like he gets the 45 mod on top of all of this to really utilize it. Do you guys have any thoughts?
I'm
We'll
just
see.
sad that there is
Let's
no
go, Lachlan.
lightning attack card because he could really
Oh
benefit
yeah,
from that. That would be like the best thing to benefit him, but
he
that
can hold
sucks
Frederica's dream for
for 10.
teammates who have for teammates who have missiles. So you can go with Frederica and Nivlu. And
I actually I've heard more than one person be like, man, I can't wait to make like a Cloud 9S like Nivlu team. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you can.
you get all sorts of damage types of that team.
I don't know. It's really hard for me not to get both these units.
Yeah. I did a review on this guy. I thought he was like, as a unit, I think he is like insane. He's very good. I think his weakness was that there is just the options for team building. Like I said, like we don't have even an Esper that has like plus 25 lightning attack right now, I think. So that kind of limits him down. So you have to like go with like if you want to make use of his damage abilities, I think you have to kind of go with like lightning attack, not lightning, pierce attack up or something. Like you
Mhm.
have to use like dashing over a snowy field or something. So that kind of sucks, but I think one good way of using him is as the anti-missile team. Like you can put him in like Frederica's Dream with your two gunners, and everyone will have a very high missile resist. He also provides 25% missile and pierce resist as well under his sub job, Nightblade sub job. So
Oh, he gets that
that's
ability. That's pretty sweet.
yeah. So I think so I he's just, to me, like as a unit, I think he's insane. It's just those team building options that kind of hold him back right now, I think.
Yeah, His
You guys are
passive is pretty sick though.
you guys are
He
not
basically
helping my
Steam
restraint.
No.
I need you to be more supportive of me
Well,
not pulling for these
speaking of
androids.
supportive, I was gonna say that he's another unit, sort of like I've said about Nivlu and Gilgamesh, where you can start the game being that supportive, buff the team up unit, and then you have all this AP to work with now, and
Go
you just start
crazy.
throwing spears at people across the map, or hacking them and stunning, decreasing their magic. But that's the thing, though. Like we can make arguments for almost every new UR
Yeah.
coming out, right? Like that they're going to be good. Even like MRs with proper like EX treatments are going to be something you can get convinced of. So like I'm actually holding on to like 5 EX job like diamond things, 'cause I'm like I don't really know what I want yet because everything seems so good that I'm just going to blow all of these if I do everything I want to do.
Like me.
So I'm like trying my best to hold on to them, but I already did do 2B because I know I'm going to
Yeah.
want to get her up.
Dude, Ziza's so worth
Plan to max this guy. Ziza is one that I'm like, ah. Ziza and Rob are two that like I'm on the edge of, but I want to make sure I have stuff for the scholar. I want to make sure I have stuff for if we get, I mean, presumably if we get another, like say the global Zazan, which I'm
Yeah.
it's always in the back of my brain. I'm sure the step up's going to give us materials. So
Yeah, or the challenge board or whatever. Like
I guess it's
like we
mainly if we
saw.
keep, oh sorry.
Well, I think I'm pretty sure we saw like a recent challenge board that gave us like a broadstone or something. Not to mention like I mean the gifts from Hiroki. We got like what like not only the rains like the broadstone and like the blossoms or whatever, but like the like 10 more like Esper, I don't know, source stones or whatever they call them, so you can get
Oh,
another
that's where my
3-star
other ones
Esper.
came from. I was like, how did I get 30 of these?
Jesus, 30.
Yeah, because I just maxed
That's like
Ifrit
as
today.
many as we've been able to get.
But yeah, so I had what was it? Bahamut at 99, and I think that's actually it. But I just did Ifrit today actually. I did the
Nice.
I figured out I had my broadstone sitting around. I'm like, what Esper has an exclamation point right now? And I go over, I'm like, oh, Ifrit exists. And then like the Omega, like some of the step ups gave us them as well, like when Golem and Omega came out. So it's definitely tough though, because that's another one. It's like I'm holding on to those. So Odin, I can get up when he first comes out. And there's another one too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Tetra.
that doesn't click. Like there doesn't like it's not like yeah it's Tetra, but
Yeah.
I mean that's
Light
probably a
bulb.
yes as well. Yeah, light bulb exactly. So anyway, talked a lot about units and stuff, but I mean we had a lot of catch up to do, and I think sort of gave us a little inkling of how unsure we are about this class match. The meta is all over the place. There is no meta. There's nothing I can say like this team is doing well or these teams aren't. I can say like units that are strong, right? But we can always do that.
No,
But
there is a
I
meta,
haven't.
but I'm not happy to talk about it, so I can wait.
Is it Keyblade for you?
Blade.
It's Cheeseblade and Double Quicken, guys.
Well, yeah, but I mean like the unit choice, like the actual team building
Yeah,
part.
fair enough.
Because
Yeah.
I guess I'll talk about mine real quick. Mine's kind of not boring, but it's pretty straightforward, which is I was going to do Double Quicken Frederica again just because it's comfortable, it's easy to pilot. At least in the opening turns, you adjust as needed. But I was like, people have seen this so much, I don't want to stream this every night because especially 2 class matches in a row. But Double Quicken's still pretty good, and I do like myself some Gilgamesh. And since it's 540 cost, we can do whatever we want basically. So it's not a restriction at all. It's like, oh no, I have like an MR Esper and like I don't even know what the other concession. I think I have like one other Esper. It's like a lower.
You're using Cello, right? So it kind of balances the Gilgamesh.
Yeah, a shell with red Chocobo Esper for the 17 agility. Like that's sure. Yeah, I'm doing Double Quicken Oron. So I'm doing Mono Ice instead. It's still Double Quicken, but at least it's I love the animation of his tornado. I'm 10-0 right now in class matches, and I have used 9 tornadoes.
Ice unit, fire tornado.
If that tells you anything about what my strategy is right now, it's just blast team. Like people stand next to each other, and I'm just like, the height's not going to help you because this stupid ability has a height range of 1 and an AoE of 2. So like anywhere in the back of the map, it's hitting everybody, and it is fantastic. There was one game where I killed all 3, like 6k, 7k, 6k or something.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, it was so
ridiculous.
satisfying. And then if they live, now they have to kill the Oron, like the 1 or 2 that are living on like no HP. They have to figure out how to deal with him by the next turn. And because of the way I have my team set up, Oron has Ketone TMR, by the way. That's the key. So you can go over the middle. So turn 1, he moves up to a crystal, and then he gets double clicking from there. On the second turn cycle, Shell gets to quicken Gilgamesh, who has auto float on, and Kane TMR. So he just gets to Kane TMR, move up, get quicken, and then run over Kotetsu, whoever's left. Like, it is very straightforward. There's some times where I have to make some decisions based on like if their units are actually split up, but part of me feels bad like streaming just double quicken, but at the same time, me just getting destroyed isn't funny either. So, and I love Oron. I really want to use him, and I think this is the best way to showcase his output.
So, do we want to set or continue the precedent of like this is the team I'm using, this is how to counter it? Like, would you want to identify like
Whatever
the
you
counter
want to
to your
say
team?
about. Oh, sure. Counter to my team is probably a faster,
Fire team.
either double quicken or Keenblade team that has like I am built to survive Garvel if necessary. I have Fenrir. I have smart coats on. I'm basically accounting for Yuna and Garvel as like my two main threats because like if I can't kill Yuna and she does her like Aeon Bond or whatever, I could be in trouble. Oron is okay against magic. I mean, obviously she still just shreds. So I'm built for that a little bit, but that does leave me open to maybe like a Glaciella or Runestern who can like get over the middle and like get some kind of crazy combo on me. Shell's fragile as always. It's nice to have the Oron like buff helping her a tiny bit with health, but like what is it, 10% of health or 15% is still 10% of little is just a little buff. So it's not the craziest, although she does live some weird things that I don't know how it happens. Yeah, that's my team. Chocobo VC is the other one, the other concession I made. I can't use Black Rose Helena, but I get Fenrir and the Exorcist card as the other two.
Locke, what about you?
So I'm running a double quick and Garval team, and I played around with like some interesting choices before, where I would put like blood, whatever it's called, Howlett's TMR on him. So I would like run up to
That's
the middle,
cool.
and then perfect evade if it's like physical damage dealers like Auron. So so that's been
So,
fun.
so
But
Willow Coat is what it's called, and it's the Fresh Blood rune, I believe.
yes, that's what it is.
Fucking
I
lore
haven't used
nerd.
that.
No, I'm just kidding.
I haven't used it too much, so I don't remember the name. But yeah, that's been interesting. But then I eventually changed to just an all-out attack strategy, um, and it's been working pretty well. I lost the very first match because I made some changes in story and made sure it worked out. But then when I switched over to duel, I forgot to make the exact same changes as well, so everything was out of sync, and I lost. And then I lost another game yesterday where things just didn't work out. I don't know, I don't know what to say. It was just I got outplayed by a bit and I made some mistakes. But I won 13 other games.
Nice.
It's
It's
been
not bad,
fun.
not bad for 15 games. Like 13 out of 15. That's still a pretty good score total.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like so I don't want to talk too much about my strategy, but I have like two different strategies that I'm playing that it's not exactly a double quicken team. It's the most offensive strategy I've played ever, and it's very akin to the
That's
very
saying a
first
lot.
strategy.
It is saying
It's
a
a
lot.
it's akin to the very first strategy I played in the game with Frederica. So
Oh, I see what you're saying.
so it's
Get
something
out
like
of
that.
I thought you
here.
were gonna say
But
some kind of like steal time shenanigans, but we're setting it back even further back to the
You
way
corner
back.
camping scum.
so it's not even that. But if I tell people it's actually very easy to beat, and I told people okay this is how you beat Frederica, then they're like okay I know how to
Well,
beat
now
her.
people who want to
So
research stuff, let's go to your channel, scroll down to your first
yeah,
videos,
if you want
and
to do that,
figure it
go
out.
for it.
Yeah. Well, so the thing about that is it's interesting because like that strategy allows people to make more mistakes because of how they react to yours. Like you said, you don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm anticipating what you're thinking, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's
Not to be vague about it.
it's like if I was like at certain points I'm like okay if you do this I'm lost I lose. So uh so but yeah it's interesting but there was something that I wanted to actually I wanted to hear you talk more about was the Keenblade because when I looked at it and I'm like okay these are the positions that you can do with Keenblade. You can't really hit anybody unless you're using like Nivlu, right? Like because there's so many unless people spawn exactly opposite from you. I find that like I'm like okay, you can move this space here and then you can move again, but uh I don't know. So like we can talk about it later, but I was thinking about that, and I didn't think Kingblade would be as much of a threat as Double Quicken. But yeah, you can go for it. I will say though, Nivelu has won me more games than Garvel, and she has absolutely no offensive TMRs. Sorry, offensive VCs on her. So
Yeah, it's
anyway,
crazy.
go for it.
Man. So yeah, like I was saying before, I've been spectating obviously a lot. Like an entire window is like 3 hours.
That's
So
a
I've
lot, dude. That's
seen like
impressive.
9 hours of class match so far this week, and I'm not slowing down anytime soon. It's really been really enjoyable. I've seen a lot of teams. Um, but I can't really say I've seen a lot of really effective teams in the meta right now. And when I say effective, I mean any like one size fits all teams. Like a lot of the teams that I've seen, like especially like for instance like these mono element teams, like the ice, the lightning, the water, the even like the dark, and I've even seen some fire teams. Like these teams all have counters, you know. So I think we like we're all agreeing about this before we started that like the meta is really weird and fluid right now, and you can't really pin it down on any one size fits all team, except for these double quicken teams and these cheese blade teams. I really you guys don't want to bring the cheese blade combo to class match and give it the spotlight that it doesn't deserve. Like the whole like toxicity of it, like not being able to give your opponent a turn, um, is just like it's not really something that we really want to encourage or condone, you know. But it is possible to use in this map in particular, as long as you can get over like the height variations in the middle of the map, you know, like the median kind of barrier. Um, there are a couple ways to get around it, and really like okay, so my first day, I've been having a lot of trouble coming up with a team just because of like seeing all these different teams. I haven't like it's so hard really to like be like, okay, this is the team that I want to use. Like uh so Prodigy is using like double quick and Orin, and like obviously he loves Orin. I'm not surprised to see that. But for me, I was like, ah, shoot. I woke up, I passed out super early, and now it's like 2:30 in the morning, and I have half an hour to finish my matches. So I threw together a double quick and Fred team, and would have went 5-0, except for I got DC'd inexplicably in my third match. So that sucks. That's kind of
Wait,
like
was it inexplicably or inexplicably or inexplicably?
no, it was like I was on my phone, I never get DC'd, and suddenly I get DC'd out of nowhere, and it's like really.
Hmm.
But I think getting DC'd in that match allowed me to get my fifth match in, like
That's fair.
like at the last moment. No, I think I ended at like 2:55 or something like that. So like who knows if I would have spent like 5 more minutes trying to finish that match, or like wait for like that final matchmaking to like it could have just ended or whatever. Anyways, so yesterday I bit the bullet and I went with this cheese blade team of Ziza, Stern, and Ildira. And there's a couple spots on the map that you can really take advantage of like the affinity cross that you need to really make the cheese blade combo work. You need it to go as fast as possible. You really focus on agility, like we were talking about earlier. Like the Omega VC um, gives Stern like 128 agility, and Aziz is just like a monster nowadays. So as long as you have, like, I have Shadowrunner and Shikuchi on Stern, so he has four move and two jump. He doesn't really have too much issue with getting over the height variations. And Ziza has Katone's TMR on her, so she can run forward and grab whatever crystal she wants. She doesn't need bells. Um, and pretty much like once the combo's over and these units are taking their second turns, I'm like right in front of the enemy, or at least in range with like a hazard destruction from Stern, or like a debilitating fist from Ziza, or like a charm or steal time. It's super unfortunate and effective to see, like, to have Cheeseblade work as well as it's doing. um, and obviously double quicken gunner like range teams are always going to be a monster for these kind of matches, unless it's like specifically against the rules, like minus like missile attack for whatever map it's on.
So just to ask, sorry for cutting off. So you
No, that's fine.
you did the combo on turn two, and I'm assuming even like other cheese blade combos you've seen is executed on turn two, not the first turn. Is that right?
No, it was right from the start. Like Stern starts with a keen blade, runs forward. Ziza starts with Katon Simar. She runs
Oh,
forward.
okay.
So both of them are sitting in the middle, and then Ildira runs up and has just enough range on her 3 range LB to hit both of them. And then suddenly, they have a turn. They go again, and they are suddenly up in your face after having crossed the middle barrier.
Okay, interesting.
Now, how often are you using
Um,
charm versus just killing people now with Ziza?
That it depends on the team, honestly. Like some units we've seen, like so Titus is vulnerable, but like Yuna is like Yuna can't be charmed, Garvel can't be charmed. So it depends on what the team comp is that your opponent is using.
Do you look to go charm first, or if you can kill, would you prefer to do that?
I
Again,
think I
I know this all
generally
depends, but generally,
yeah. So generally I focus on who survives Stern's like initial salvo. Like he has his hazard break is called like hazard destruction now or something, because of his X upgrade. I actually went 99 to 120 with Stern yesterday in preparation for this combo that I was like
nice.
really not looking forward to trying out. So another 120 unit there. Anyways, so yeah, generally Stern gets his AOE hazard ability off, and either one shot somebody or brings them down to like 10% or something. So Ziz is either on cleanup duty or decides who to charm. And
No,
most people that I've seen are like don't really bother with initial placement. But even if they do, like enough people are not anticipating this combo that they either they change their initial placement to take advantage of affinity or move them forward enough, or it's just like this is kind of working against you, my dude, not helping you.
my dude.
Um, sorry,
This
but
was
like
funny to hear you say that. I was expecting that.
so
My dude.
like it's like really the kind of sort of counter and like barring going faster than them is to have your units like not taking advantage of affinity in like in the corner of the map, in the middle of the map, in the other corner. That's really the only kind of
Oh,
counter, and I don't
Magic
even know.
Affinity didn't exist. Be a
Yeah,
great world.
I don't even know if that will be enough because you're still looking at losing one or two of your units. So it really sucks, man.
So can you still hit people if they are like in either corners?
Um, it would be. I think it's possible. It depends on like how you move around your positioning, because uh, Stern with 4 move, facing like the opposite wall of the middle barrier from where you start,
Yeah.
he can really get to a lot of spots. And I think the corners with like the height uh, variations are really the only spots that he can't really attack. Like the Shuriken doesn't have the height range. Like Anton, like might only have the 4 range.
Mhm.
I think I remember checking and uh, those spots not being ideal, if not out of range.
So I remember now why I thought Keenblade wasn't going to be an issue. Is because when I was testing in free match, the starting positions were different than starting
Yes.
positions in class
Yeah.
match, and that's why I was like, yeah, like I can see people starting here, here, or here, and I don't see how we can cover that. But then
Yeah.
now it's all different, so that's why,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
yeah, the
which
class
sucks.
match map
Yeah,
initial placement being different is actually helping the cheese blade combo when normally it
yeah.
wouldn't.
Double click an Auron, he touches anywhere on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually been pretty shocking how much coverage he has just with the Katone TMR.
Yeah, so I mean that's a good point. Like I wanted to talk more about the double quicken stuff and not really spotlight the cheese blade stuff. Um, because I think like I've talked about recently about how I really like Quicken being a tool for newer players and like the non-spenders or like the lower spenders
Preach.
as a way like as an equalizer, kind of like guns were introduced into the east or west or whatever as like the great equalizer. Um, being able to like stand on similar ground with like whales who have more investment into the roster or whatever. And it's interesting seeing a lot of different double quicken teams, if not single quicken, and with like 2 carries instead of one. Like I've seen Garvel, I've seen Dwayne. Like if you like when you picture an element, you can kind of picture a carry for the element, at least one. I've seen like a double quicken of that team. So it's actually it's kind of cool, and it's not as like quote unquote cancerous as like we used to think it was with just like one or two of these hyper carries,
And
or
on
three or
this
three or
map,
four.
Two, it's very rare to be able to hit a team twice with double clicking because like there's a fair spawn distance where unless you're using somebody with like 5 or 6 movement and they're right across from you, you're really only going to realistically get one hit in at the end of it, which means you're not doing these. I mean, Glaciella might be one that can, but things where like Glaciella gets to go like jump on the team because her not only does she move far, she also gets mobility with that first hit that then
Yeah.
repositions her. But like for Oron, I get one hit. Like unless someone moves up on turn one, which happens if I'm against someone on auto, then they have a really bad time. Or especially if they let me shifting strike through the wall, so I can position wherever I
So
want.
nice.
It's so
The teleport.
disgusting. But yeah, I mean, I get one hit, and then they actually get a turn to respond if I don't one shot all of them, which isn't always happening. It's just putting them in a bad position to where they can't really get back from it because I have the Gilgamesh coming afterwards. But yeah, versus Keenblade that you just don't ever get a turn, which is
Yeah.
a little bit more. Maybe you could argue that like, okay, well maybe I should have a more powerful unit, but I mean, my Oran's got like almost 1400 attack, so I don't know what else I'm supposed to do here. 1400 attack, 45 ice mod with 25 human killer on Odin. Like he has a
Yeah.
lot of modifiers, so if you live it, it's pretty good.
I think kind of in closing, I don't know how much longer we're going, but I have a couple more thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys. And the first is that like we're kind
Real
of
quick before you do lock it, it looked like you're about to
sorry.
say something
Yeah, what were you
before on
saying?
the previous topic.
I was just gonna say I faced Oron, and as Garvel, he had to hit him like even with 2 times hitting him with jamming thrust, I couldn't bring his health down to like even 30%. So it's insane, and Oron just one shot me. So so you know,
That's the thing. It's like
Legendary Guardian.
I am double quickening and like that. You can have whatever opinion you want of that, but at least I'm using like and what I believe is at least a more interesting unit. He's very limited. Like a lot of his stuff goes in a line, so unless you're within 3 spaces to do his little cross thing, or I mean, I'm killing people with the tornado, but or tornado as we're calling it on the stream.
Even his guaranteed hit is only two range.
Right. So
yeah.
you do have to work a little bit to get him to work. And I mean, I have to make the concession of Ketone TMR. I can't put on like some other crazy ability. His buffs aren't particularly amazing. Like he does get a little bit of defense pen if he needs or something, but sometimes because of the quicken timings, they get turns too. So I have to like really position to make it awkward for them to hit me. So I think it's at least a little more interesting, and I'm using a unit that I really enjoy, but I definitely understand the frustration with double quicken. But anyway, sorry to go
Yeah,
back
no
on that.
worries. So like thought one of two is I was having a conversation with Jay Benson about this recently, and we're in this weird kind of window right now with X jobs where like we don't have a lot of X bruisers right now. So like it's all about who can one shot each other, and it's really harking back to like the first couple months of the game where it's like Stern's just like one shotting with Shuriken or whatever, or like Medi bombs or which were still an issue, but like there's a lot of one shotting happening right now that and we're trying to figure out how to deal with that, right? Like there's not enough bruiser or tank X's out right now. And so I mean there's still a light at the end of the tunnel because that will eventually balance out in the months to come.
Oron and Gilgamesh, Oron and Gilgamesh.
Right. So like there's like maybe Whisper X will help against like the Keenblade combo or whatever. But or we'll see maybe tactics down the road or whatever. But um like don't be too discouraged about like the current state of things. I think we just kind of got to give it a little bit of time. Like they have to cater to people that just really want to do all the damage they can, I guess. And yeah, so I think it's just a matter of time before we can really balance out. Right now, the scales are a little unbalanced, and we just got to wait for that. The second thought, I think if I have one piece of advice about this class match, it's something that Raphaelos was talking about in the live PvP server a lot recently. Um, maybe some other people do, but like I think I've seen him talk about it the most is like um, bells aren't really necessary in a map where these AP crystals are close enough and there's enough of them where it's kind of a waste to use bells when it doesn't really give you any kind of advantage. Like using a turn, like each turn should really gain you some kind of advantage, if not from a buff, if not from positioning, if not from attacking somebody, then just like trying to help your team out in some way. Um, Using bells like first turn is kind of it's not really helping. I mean, it's investing in your future turns, obviously that AP refresh, but you could do the same thing from using like Katone's TMR, like we've been doing with getting to like a crystal position, which isn't too far out of position. So you also have to take that into
It's a
account.
height 3, dude. It's
Yeah,
super
exactly.
safe.
Yeah. Well, the height 4 pillar with the crystal there is like even better. Like
Is there a height 4 one?
yeah, the one
It's
the like
not.
the very top one.
Well, it's height 4 like from the base of the map, but where people actually
Yeah.
stand, it's only 3.
Yeah, it only takes like 3 height difference to get there because it's height
Right.
1 most
It's
of the
1 and then it's
grounds.
3 up. So
Yeah,
like there's
exactly.
a couple AoEs that can get you, but it's very few and far between. And they have to be able to get in range and do the attack from that range on turn
Yeah.
1, which is what I've been doing with my Orani. I go up on the 4, then I go to the
Yeah.
next 4, and then I go.
But yeah, so that like especially getting up to that 4 height pillar, that's a pretty safe spot. Even though it looks like you're really close to the other team, if they've had a chance to move forward at all, there's not a lot of like skills that have like a range height of 3 or like a area height of 3 or both, you know, unless you're fighting freaking range teams. But that's a whole other thing. Those are my thoughts, not yours.
And by real quick,
What's up, Chrome?
you just mentioned dying to Shuriken in the beginning.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know now, it's a 121 mod, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's like
small
such a
damage.
low damage thing, and we used to get one
Yeah.
shot by it every like it was the most terrifying thing in guild battles. I'd be watching like my unit stood behind the pillar, they can't get shurikens. Like, instead of and now it's like okay, we have like 200 mods on like jamming thrust and stuff, which wasn't a thing in the beginning really. So it's so interesting to see like how that's changed. But yeah, I've definitely noticed the focus going to sort of, as I call it, big dick damage, where it's just like who can hit first and hit the hardest, and like that's very boring to me. However, trying to, like you were with J-Bets, like trying to solve that problem is at least interesting to me, whether you're going faster or you're mitigating or what you're doing to try to create an edge that prevents you from falling victim to those sort of strategies and that sort of meta. But I guess maybe that's the like meta right now is like
Elemental resist. It's going to be a thing.
that would be sweet.
Could be, yeah. I think to solve the double quicken problem or even the king play problem, if they, but it's not like something we can do. It's like the game has to do it. If they released a unit with a passive that's like gains like 50 CT whenever an enemy gains CT outside of normal means, I think that would.
Oh my
like,
god!
Just straight counter.
You
Just
know?
print the counter.
Boom! There you go.
Reminds me of Orvan from the Tactics.
And regarding
Just like the kind of just weird stuff that he could do.
double quicken gunners, I haven't seen a single double quicken gunner, but I've seen 2 gunner teams with like triple gunners. So I thought it was interesting because I expected to fight more double gunners and I haven't yet. Have you guys been seeing that?
Not the double quicken one, but I am waiting to come up against the Luartha with even one quicken, and I'm terrified. I'm hoping to just fade it the whole time because I know Lazarus is using double quicken in Luartha, and I have a feeling at some point he's gonna snipe me one day. He's gonna wait till the 3rd time, and just like when I'm streaming, he's gonna try to match me because he knows it's gonna be basically a free
Not
win.
like this.
But like I fully expect it. I'm waiting for it.
I was actually planning on doing that. I was thinking of doing
really?
Luartha, Nivlu, and
Sniping Prodijee?
Gilgamesh, not sniping Prodijee, but
there
that was what I was planning. And it's not even Luartha because like Nivlu does just as much damage as Luartha because I have both.
We can test that against my Oron and see which one does more damage.
Well, I mean, against ice, yes, but like
That's what I'm talking about. Like my team is 3 ice units, so it's like I don't want to see a Luartha ever. I don't mind rain. I don't mind. Actually, I guess Elda be kind of terrifying too. Like most, like those fire units, not so much. But Luartha is just she has the Ice Eater innate, and if they have a maxed out Ifridon with like the Ice Eater and fire, like not gonna be good. Not gonna be good.
Christmas Mastery.
That too. Fuck. I keep forgetting she exists. No one uses her. She's so underused.
I was saying today, like if I had one team I would focus on, it would involve Christmas Mastery, and I'm still thinking about it.
Can she hold Keenblade?
No, thankfully.
You could put her on the Keenblade team though.
We'll see.
Yeah, you gotta use your girl Ziza. Any other thoughts before we wrap up? Oh, Locke, did you finish what you were wanting to say about that?
No, I finished. I just thought that was very interesting to see a triple gunners. One with Lucia, one with Luartha.
Did the Lucia one do
I've seen
very
a couple.
poorly and the Luartha did very well?
No, they both died very easily. So
they both died.
And it was really bad because the Nivlu was also like a gunner sub, so he had like I don't know why, and The other Niblu didn't even get a turn, so
It's not a bad sub, but like especially on this map with the positioning play that is
yeah.
involved, like you really you want that quicken in there. If you have access to it on a unit, you kind of want to build it.
I felt really bad because the guy with the Niblu, like he could have gone. He had a turn with Niblu in between, and he used the Niblu to go between Federica and Luartha and buff aimed fire, and I got to go next, and I just devotion blast all three of them, and I'm like, that sucks, but you know.
Detonation blast.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, detonation
Sorry?
blast.
Detonation blast.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
AoE one from.
I wish
Okay.
it was called devotion blast. That'd
Actually, you
be
said
weird.
devotion blast. I was
Did
like,
I say
what?
devotion?
Yeah.
I meant to say detonation.
The samurai garble. He just shows up like katana.
Right?
That's what we need. We need kind of like Hien, but like more range, where they're like doing like slashes with a katana, like super weeb
Dude,
job.
that just reminds me of the Fryevia like vision card art submission like contest. I wish that I had time to do the art for that because I was really looking forward to doing an art piece for it. Like I have such a vivid image of it in my head, like what I wanted to do. I just didn't have the time.
Dude, Forever EX1.
That's digressing though. Right.
Oh. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to just drop the fucking. Hopefully, near means that UR Zasan's a ways away, so I have some time to recoup. But at the same time, I know that. So King Mont, I should be able to safely
we'll
skip.
see.
I'll probably do my like 3 polls just to see if I randomly get him type thing, then do his bingo board. But I'm not gonna go hard. But then Scholar, dude, I can't wait for the Scholar. Anyway, all right, enough of future stuff. Talk about this. Talk about current. I think we're gonna wrap up for today. Everybody, good luck on your class matches. May your RNG be in your favor, and you avoid as much cheeseblade as possible. Yeah, I don't think I have any closing thoughts. So if you want to listen on audio, which I guess you're at the end of the video, so you've already listened to us, but in the future, if you'd like to listen to audio, please follow us on Spotify, because that's a thing. And you can see the releases as soon as they come out, and both of them should release at the same time. The Spotify could actually come out a lot faster, just because YouTube is really slow and it's a video file versus audio file. But I'm gonna try to time it to be at the same time, so it all drops at once. And let's talk tactics. I was your host, Zach Bro.
I've been Daniel Booth.
And I've been locked.
And we will see you next time.